Yo, what's up guys? You got PokeaimMD here with a video talking about my regional experience this past weekend. I want to say that I did vlog a little bit, but I didn't realize that I wouldn't be able to use my phone when I'm actually participating in the tournament, so I didn't vlog as much as I wanted. So there's really just me, leaving my vlog for there when I met up with Envy and he hit my car. Not like with his car, but like he smacked it. And yeah, like leaving for the first day of the VGC regional, which is obviously what we went to. We went to a regional this past weekend in Hartford, Connecticut, and I'll just be talking about in this video about my experience, what I brought, why I brought it, and what led up to that. So feel free to tab out if you want to. I don't really have much going on in the background. I do have the team that I brought, which is a variation of Wolfe's Worlds team, because I was working with him. But feel free to tab out and just listen if you care, and if you don't, that's fine. Also, I want to say, well, I'll say it a little bit later in the video because I don't want to spoil anything, but there should be a new series dropping this week, and there also should be a new series on Wolfe's channel that I'm doing with him, so feel free to check that out. youtube.com/WolfeGlick VGC, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's his handle YouTube channel. I don't know what it's called on YouTube. It's a channel. That's his channel, okay? It's Wolfe Glick VGC. But I'll leave it down below so you guys can go ahead and check it out. But yeah, so I've been doing a little bit of VGC with Wolfe. You guys know I had some stuff on the channel where he taught me VGC, and then we did something where I was trying to teach him singles tiers, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, right? And I didn't realize that there was a Connecticut regional going on, so I said, maybe I should go to this, especially because like every single time Worlds happens, right, I always get super motivated to play official Pokemon, right? VGC, official Pokemon. I want to do this. Yeah, I'm going to make a Worlds run this year. Yeah, man, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this and this. And it just dies down immediately because I don't, I just don't do it, right? I do so much stuff with YouTube, Twitch, and I just don't do this. And I wanted to so badly. So I was like, hey man, should I go to this regional? And Wolfe was like, yeah man, do it. And I was like, can you pass me some teams that I can start practicing with? So Wolfe gave me a whole bunch of common teams, or a whole bunch of known teams. Passed me a few of Team Man's. He passed me Ralphie's, then the dude who got third, that's his name, I think. And then he also passed me his, and he said, this is also the team that I use for Worlds. And I was like, well, yeah, I want to use the team that you use. If you're going to be helping me, I want to know why you made these sets, like what we did, what... now. Sorry about that. I was just replying to a tweet he just actually sent me. But yeah, I want to know why you did this, and I think that would better help me understand VGC, because I've played a few VGC games. I've gone to a regional before. I've played at PCs, but I definitely haven't played any of the 2017 meta. Maybe at the most, I want to say 15, 20 games, because I was really hyped to go to nationals, and I didn't. I wanted to go to nationals for this year just to do it, but I didn't. And yeah, so basically this was something that I really wanted to do, and Wolfe was like, all right, cool, I'll show you this team. I know this team best. So I ended up using this team right here, and we made a few changes to it. So we'll go over the team, and then we'll keep going on with the story, right? So first off, Focus Sash Togedemaru. Absolutely love this thing. It's so great. Lightning Rod is amazing. Obviously, I bred all these Pokemon, by the way. I had to catch Tapu Fini with like my modest Gardevoir with Trace, and get like a 50% or synchronized. Gonna get like a 50% chance to get modest on it, and then luckily someone had traded me a Kartana at some point. It was Jolly, so I was like, oh, clean. And then I bred like Jackie over here. I bred Snorlax. I called it CVV, and I bred Busted right here. But we made a few changes to the team, mainly just EV spread changes. But first off, we have Togedemaru, Jolly max speed, max attack. A lot of people don't run max speed on their VGC teams. Like I'm talking about, like I saw Adamant Garchomps in the meta and whatnot. I mean, Lele's don't typically run timid, even if they're Choice Scarf. I think they run modest as well. But I really love Togedemaru. Fake Out Encore was clutch. Fake Out obviously giving me that one turn. Encore was so cool because if I had Togedemaru paired to like Tapu Fini, and let's say they had like Celesteela plus Marowak out, right? Or they would switch in Marowak on my Zing Zap, but I would switch in Tapu Fini on that turn. Like a lot of the playing I did, and I want to give a shout out to Wolfe, a lot of it was based around positioning. Like he really taught me that positioning was important. So It's not about attacking what's always in front of you, even if I can get a kill. But if that doesn't help me in the long run of things winning, like let's say I can knock out Celesteela with Arcanine, but then that lets in Garchomp, and I don't have my Intimidate Mon in the back to switch in, so my weakened Tapu Fini can go down. It's things like that, right? Where you really care about positioning. But I loved Encore on this thing because Tapu Fini next to it, or even Arcanine next to it, forced Protect, so I could Encore them into a Protect, and that slot basically was locked into that. Spiky Shield was sick as well for opposing foul play, especially versus like Persian, Snorlax matchups. That's tested with Envy, and then Zingzap is actually surprisingly strong. I mean, it has base 98 attack, like 2 KOing Celesteela and whatnot. Also being powered up by Electric Terrain. Really, the reason I love this thing is because I just switched it in. Typically, I have Tapu Fini out. Maybe they bring in an Electric type like Coco, and if they go for Thunderbolt, Giggle Havoc, whatever, I switch in Togedemaru, and it just absorbs it all. And then we had Focus Sash, which was nice for that insurance. Some points I kind of wish I had Air Balloon, but at the same time I think Focus Sash was just smarter because there was a point where I did have to switch this thing in on Garchomp's Earthquake at full just to get in my Fake Out pressure for the next turn and potentially go down to Rough Skin, but yeah, just max speed and whatnot. Didn't change much of that. Snorlax, really love this set. One thing that we did change about it from his team was that we made it 2 speed IVs over 0. I think the one that I ended up getting was like this, so it was pretty much perfect. Special attack didn't matter at all. But yeah, we made it 2 speed IVs. That way we're faster than opposing 0 speed Snorlax outside of Trick Room, but still also being slower than Pokemon like Mudsdale and whatnot. Other Trick Room mons, of course, like Torkoal and Gigalith do outspeed us, and there's nothing we can do about that. But Belly Drum Lax with Gluttony is ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous. And the way this team functions, it had 2 modes, Mimilax, and then it had like Arcanine, Tapu Fini, Kartana, Togedemaru, typically like that, though you could do some variations. I typically brought Snorlax a lot in game 2s and 3s. This is a best of 3 team. And yeah, so Belly Drum, Protect Blacks, Fizz Def, eats up everything really, and just recycles. And again, I'll be talking, I wrote down, I have notes here of every single round I played, so I'll be talking about all of them. Like I said, this is a video where I'm just talking, and if you want to hear about it, great. If you don't, that's fine, but I'm trying to go over the team. Didn't change much about this besides the speed, which definitely came into play versus opposing Belly Drum Lax. Prior to Trick Room, I was able to get KOs on them, so that was pretty cool. I had frustration over, no, I had return over frustration because I didn't want my Snorlax to hate me. It was a Pokemon type thing. It was a pain though to make this mon love me. I swear it was a pain, but eventually it loved me. Mimikyu was the next mon we brought, and we ended up going Timid. He brought Modest to Worlds. I ended up going with Timid because again, I outsped a lot of Pokemon with like Adamant. Like I saw Adamant Garchomp a couple times, outspeeding opposing Mimikyu that aren't running max speed, outspeeding Lele's. Whatnot was pretty cool. The EV spread allowed me to pretty much almost always KO Kartana with Z Shadow Ball. I think it does 98% minimum to KO Kartana, and this was like a Spadef invested Kartana as well. Still having a decent shot to KO Metagross. The defense EVs also let me take like a Z Tectonic Rage from Garchomp after -1. And it was like that, and it was really cool because next Snorlax, this thing could go for Z Destiny Bond. If you guys didn't know, Z Destiny Bond is like follow me. So if I saw my opponent had like 1 or 2 mons faster than Mimikyu, and in game 2 I went Mimilax, I could Z Destiny Bond turn 1 if they had 2 slow Pokemon on the field, allow Snorlax to belly drum up, and then the next turn I protect, and then get up a Trick Room because my my Destiny Bond's still intact if they didn't knock me out. And I can always Trick Room up, having that slow priority, and then allowing Snorlax to put in some work. So that was pretty cool. Taunt was definitely clutch as well. Taunt was cool, not only for stopping opposing setup from Snorlax, but also forcing my opponent to not be able to protect or roar, and then that's just a free attack in that slot with a +6 Snorlax. Kartana was the next mon we brought. We did change up the EV spread a little bit, made it a little bit stronger with some Spadef. Sub Kartana is a beast, especially with Grassium Z. I did have double Z move on this team. But typically I didn't bring both of these at the same time. Sometimes I did, but for the most part, when I brought both of them, I didn't need, like if I found that I brought both of them, I didn't need to use my Grassium Z, so I would use like my Z move here and just use Kartana as like a Pokemon with no item, yeah, but it still hits hard with Leaf Blade and Sacred Sword and whatnot. So Sub was sick, especially with Arcanine. It's a pretty standard team, but I'm just going over it again. And then we have Choice Specs Tapu Fini, which we made a little bit faster than the one that he used at Worlds because he did post his team, so we made it a little bit faster than that. Muddy Water is an amazing move, bulky enough to take on Garchomp and whatnot. I found Dazzling Gleam a little bit underwhelming, and at times I kind of wish it was, at least when I was testing on Showdown, At times I kind of wish it was like Haze, even on Spexmon. I even was thinking about Soak on a Choice Scarf Tapu Fini. I was even thinking about like getting rid of the Choice Specs and making it Mystic Water or something, or what is it, Wise Glasses, I think. Just something to make it be able to switch a moves. But Specs was definitely amazing. Being able to get those KOs on Marowak after just a little bit of chip damage, or just pressuring Mons. Muddy Water's amazing with the accuracy drops. You guys should know by now. And then Arcanine was just a little bit. Well, goodbye, Tapu Fini. Hold up. Oof. There you go. Arcanine, again, was just 1 point slower than Tapu Fini, which is cool because some Pokemon went down to Flare Blitz after taking Muddy Water and maybe a Papa Berry and whatnot. But just helping hand Arcanine, enough attack investment to always KO Tapu Koko with Flare Blitz into extreme speed, helping hand protect Mago Berry and whatnot. And yeah, the defensive E's and HP, I believe it let it take like a -1 liquidation from Araquanid. I think always, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that was pretty cool. Intimidate was pretty sick. But yeah, so this is the team I ended up choosing. And I was talking with MV one night, right? And I was like, hey, bro, do you want to go to this? And he's like, oh, I don't play VGC. This was, okay, keep in mind, guys, this was like 8 days before the regional, maybe 9 or 10 days before the regional. He's like, I don't really play VGC, bro. And I'm like, you want to do it anyway, just to go? It'd be cool. We haven't seen each other in like a year, and we can play and maybe do well, and maybe if, you know, we both do well. Like, for me, it was like a test. It was like, okay, if I do well at this, I'm going to take the 2018 meta seriously, okay? So, and he was like, and I talked with him a little bit more about it, and I was like, man, we play Pokemon so much, right? But we don't even play the official Pokemon. And as much as I love Smogon, it's like, it'd be cool to one day be recognized for playing the official thing, at least by the Pokemon company, or to shake the hand of the Pokemon creator. That's stuff I want to do. Like, that's like goals, aspirations that I have that I want to do, right? I was like, you know what? He asked me at the next way. He's like, you know what? You're right. Let's do this. Can I have some teams? So I passed him a few teams, right? He didn't end up liking most of them, except for when I passed him Ralphie's team. He's like, dude, I'm not winning on the ladder, man. I just keep losing. And I was like, okay, let's get in call today. Let's play. So, speaking of the team he used, it was the Persian Celestial. I think his name is Ralph. I do apologize if I'm wrong, bro. If you're even watching, if you even care. But it was like Persian, Mence, Celestial Amaro, Scarf Tapu Koko, and then Snorlax. Speaking of Snorlax, like sometimes I did, at least on the ladder, I wish that I had 2 attacks, but right there I think I was fine. But yeah, that's the team he ended up using, and he was like, yeah, dude, even with this team, it's pretty cool. I love Salamence, but I'm not winning at all. So I was like, okay, let's hop in the ladder. So we get a game, right, versus like a Soak Fini type of team, and I start showing him, okay, like he sees, okay, so this dude has Bulu out in the field, right? I could just heavy slam with Celesteela and pick up a KO. And I was like, yeah, you could do that, but what if he brings out Xmon? So why don't you actually double back out into Persian to fake out and then pressure him with like your Marowak next to it and things like that. So eventually, like from that battle, he learned that positioning was important as well. Like I'm still not perfect at that sort of thing, but he learned that as well. And then the next day he's like, yeah, dude, I laddered up with this team. I'm like 1600 on the ladder, 1700 on the ladder. I'm like, damn, that's better than me. Because my team, I was actually at a point I was just losing a lot on the ladder because my team is best of 3, not best of 1. I was confident in best of 3s I could win. Fun fact, I sound so lame saying that, Jesus. The team that Envy used actually 2-0'd Wolfe at Worlds. But I ended up playing a lot of best of 3s with Envy, and I think 90% of them I won with this team versus what Envy was using. And that was just from like learning experience. Like Wolfe never had that matchup, but now I had the learning experience, right? So anyway, Envy's doing well. He's laddering all week and whatnot, getting ready for it. He ends up hitting me up and being like, you know, I'm going to change Tapu Koko to Tapu Fini, see how it works out. I actually talked to Marcus. It's funny because I'm working with Wolfe and he's working with Marcus. And he's like, yeah, I talked to Marcus and he said, oh, he also uses team with Tapu Fini. So he ended up changing to Tapu Fini. And then he hits me up. He's like, well, I like Tapu Fini. I was trying out Choice Specs and Calm Mind. I ended up locking Calm Mind. And then he's like, I'm going to still try out Tapu Koko though, right, a bit and see how it works for me. So he does both and he's like, damn, man, they're both amazing. What do I do? And I was like, okay, let's keep trying. Let's play some more best of 3s and check it out. Like, I really wanted to know that matchup, and he also wanted to know this matchup just in case people brought Wolfe's Worlds team. So, I talk a lot, by the way. You guys probably know by now. Hopefully you're doing something, like your homework or I don't know. Hopefully you're... I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, so... he ends up saying, yeah, dude, I actually changed out Salamence because he found it underwhelming. Even at times, like I was talking to him, like, man, I hate Salamence on that team. After you Supersonic Sky Strike, I can just protect on your flies, and then Earthquake hits your own teammates and things like that. Yeah, he has Celesteela, but like if he has Marowak out, he always has to protect. He's like, dude, I feel the same way. So he hits me up the next way. He's like, I actually tried out Dragonite, and Dragonite's been putting out a lot of work. And I was like, oh yeah, what set you're using? He's like, 3 attacks, Dragonite. So I was like, you're just using no use set? He's like, yeah, I got Earthquake, Fire Punch for Kartana and Celesteela, and then Supersonic Sky Strike Fly. And it's actually really nice paired next to Persian, because Persian obviously fakes out, and then with multi-scale Dragonite takes hits. So that's the team Envy decides on going. And so yeah, I drive to Connecticut. He has a flight, so I drove to Connecticut. Actually had like a little lunch date with my girl during her break before that. So said bye to Marlene. Ended up deciding on this team. Was still kind of like because I'd been losing a lot on the ladder, and Envy had like 3 accounts secretly in like the 1700s, close to 1800s. So he's doing really well in best of 1, which is good. But obviously VGC isn't just best of 1. It's about winning the whole set, especially when it's Swiss best of 3. So I drive to Connecticut alone, just chilling, listen to music, whatnot. I get there, 4 hours of traffic, guys. I was like, I swear, there was 15 minutes where I literally I actually put my car in park because I think a boat was like crossing on the Hutch, or I was trying to go to a 95, and then yeah, whatever. Anyway, 4 hours later, a 2.5 hour trip or 2 hour trip turned into 4 hours going there. Make it to the Bradley Airport. I pick up Envy. I lower the window. I was like, yo, bro, get in, bro. And he actually vlogged, and he smacks my car. I was like, oh, so you're just going to hit my car now? Get out. Go back home. But yeah, we end up staying at the Marriott, do our team sheets, whatnot. We actually meet A-Drive and Crimson Seabat, and Tyler and Drew, which is Nips, or Mr. Talent, and his girlfriend, Tia. We meet them at the Marriott in the lobby, and I was like, yo, is that AKA A-Drive? And, you know, give him a dap, what up, hug, whatever. First time meeting him. Same thing with Crimson, whatnot. Great to see Drew again. Last time I saw him was actually at Shady's wedding, and, you know, meeting his girlfriend was cool. So I end up checking into Marriott. We're like, oh, you guys want to get some food? I'm starving. I drove like 5 hours at this point, and I have not eaten since 2 something, right? And at that point, it's like 7:30, 8 o'clock, about like 8 o'clock, I want to say, and they're there. So get our Marriott, we check in, go park my car in the parking lot they have. That was not free, by the way. It was not free. I got a little discount at the end, so I was okay with that. But it was like $19 a day to park. I was like, damn, I'm already paying for this hotel. Our room was sick, by the way. So we go there, we go out to eat at this Bear's Barbecue place, or I think it's called Bear's Barbecue. And I love how I'm not telling you anything VGC related at all. But I want you guys to know the experience I was doing. I swear the next part is going to be literally me going through every single matchup, talking about how I felt, and like things like that. I swear. You guys, I swear. Anyway, so we go eat there. I get like 2 plates of food. And then, you know, we're just chilling, talking. Eventually, we're just talking about our teams and whatnot. And eventually, you know, like, oh, let's just call it a night, man. It's close to 1. We got to wake up at 7:30, 7:45. I mean, I'm like 100 feet from the Connecticut Convention Center. So I'm actually chilling. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to wake up at 8:30. And walk in and be fun. So anyway, sleep, whatever. Separate beds. Envy, I don't know, he hit me. He was like, we're not sharing beds, are we? He's like, bro, get the hell out of here. We got twin beds. I'm not sleeping next to you when I have my own bed right here. So anyway, next day, wake up a little bit late, take a shower, head home. I actually have a PokeaimMD beanie. I actually have 2. Shout out to Design by Humans. They're actually going to, I think they're making a little shop for me from them. I think they already did. I'll check my email after this. But I go down there and the line is huge, man. The line is huge. But I meet up with Yink, who is a longtime friend and also a subscriber of mine. It was great to meet her for the first time. And yeah, gave her a PokeaimMD beanie. We just talked a little bit. And she was running, like she was doing a lot of the stuff behind the scenes and whatnot. So that was cool. Meet up with them. Finally sign in. And a lot of my friends are there that I haven't seen in a long time. I also met up with Case. I've never met Case Victory, but he's been a long-time friend. He also, my dad was like his assistant principal at a point back in high school. So I knew him he was in IDM and whatnot. But him, Nails, Blair, John, whatnot. A lot of people, okay? Just a lot of people. And I don't want to name everybody. Because I know I'll forget everybody. But I meet up with a lot of people. I see a lot of, I don't like saying the word fans, but I see a lot of friends, right? Which is pretty cool. Envy was hilarious, by the way. Like somebody would walk up to me and be like, "Yo, are you PokeaimMD? Are you Joey?" I was like, "Yeah, man. What's up, dude?" I give him a handshake, give him a dap, whatever, depending. And he was like, he reaches out his hand. Like this happened multiple times. He's like, "And I'm Lord Envy." I was like, "Who?" Nah. But yeah, it was just hilarious. So we get there, team sheets all filled out, everything's good. Thankfully, no drama with team sheets because we actually paid attention and double checked each other's, so we were good, right? And the tournament's about to start. So round one. All right, now we're finally getting into the juicy details of how I play. So, you know, I see a lot of friends and I want to keep talking, but eventually it's starting and I'm starving because there's no food that has been consumed. And we don't get to eat until after round 3. So round 1 started around 10 and round 3 was like around, I want to say it started like around 1:15 and then from whenever you finish your round 3 to 3:10, you get to eat. So I'm like hungry as hell. I got some gum, thankfully, got some sugar and some water. I got sugar and water, that's all I got. But I play this dude named Desmond Stewart as my first opponent. And his team was Tapu Koko, Buzzwole, Mimikyu, Oranguru, excuse me, Tapu Lele, and Snorlax. So I'm like, okay, I can deal with this. So I think I end up leading off with something then. I think I led off with, since his team was like some sort of mix, I think I ended up leading off with Fini Kartana with, I want to say, I led off with Fini Kartana with, no, I led off with Arcanine Kartana because I wanted to intimidate early off and also just pressure Buzzwole. I had Togedemaru on the back and then, Arcanine Fini. I had Togedemaru on the back and then Kartana. That boy led off with Snorlax plus Oranguru. I switched out into, I think I switched out into my my Kartana because I could deal with that. No, I flavored its Muddy Water into Oranguru because I was like, okay, I can. No, okay, so sorry. I just remembered exactly how turn 1 happened. I let off a Togedemaru plus Tapu Fini because that was a good matchup versus literally everything on his team. Not only do I get a Misty Terrain, so I can fake out Lele, but I also have that Koko check, and then I have Kartana plus Arcanine in the back. So that's how I let it off with. He let off with Oranguru plus Snorlax. I was like, okay, I could fake out Oranguru and just Muddy Water, right, and be fine. Or I could also, yeah, I can fake out in Muddy Water and be fine. I can Encore Snorlax if it goes for Belly Drum, and I get off a little bit of chip damage on Oranguru. The problem with Oranguru is it can run Inner Focus and Telepathy. So unfortunately, my opponent was the Inner Focus one. That was my bad. That was completely my bad because I remember Telepathy, but Inner Focus. So I was like, great, a great start. He Belly Drums up, right? Or Snorlax Trick Rooms up. I'm like, okay, this is still manageable. I can Spiky Shield, go Arcanine. It's a little bit harder. I have to sack Arcanine, but keeping Tapu Fini alive is smart for Buzzwole potentially in the back. So he goes, I switch in Arcanine. He goes for Rock Slide. And then he instructs that Rock Slide. So this is a +6 Snorlax going for 2 Rock Slides, which is about, I want to say, a 56% chance, roughly, in odds to flinch me. Close to 60% chance to flinch me. And yeah, my and I Zing Zapped with Togedemaru because I Spiky Shield because I want to see what move he locked himself into, and I get an Arcanine. I was like, okay, he's gonna be -5. I'm probably gonna lose Arcanine here, but at least I get to see what move he locks himself into. So I found out it was Belly Drum. That I ended up finding out he's Protect and Return, so he's no Recycle. Long story short, the dude flinches my Kartana to death. He did 3 Rock Slide flinches, and he does get them. So I lose game 1. He never switches, and I get beat down game 1. I was like, okay, that's fine. Let me just play smart game 2. So game 2, I lead off with Kartana, and I lead off with Kartana plus Arcanine. I have Fini plus Togedemaru on the back. And I just helping hand Bloom Doom get my kill. Boy protects and I get my kill. Like it's a game 1, I get back into it, but he actually ends up bringing Buzzwole and Mimikyu as well. I do find out that Oranguru is more likely Mental Herb, no Berry. But yeah, it was alright because he ended up bringing up Buzzwole, and I ended up winning that game, right? And I found out that he was also Z fighting Buzzwole. which brought my Togedemaru down to Sash through a spiky shield. Jesus Christ, man. Through a spiky shield, it brought my Togedemaru down to Sash. I also found that his Mimikyu was running Protect. So that was pretty cool. But I ended up winning that game. And next game, he leads Koko Buzzwole and Snorlax Oranguru. I lead off with Finny plus Cart. Because I wanted to threaten the Snorlax immediately. I already knew it didn't have Recycle, so once it popped its barrier, it was gone. I could also Z-move. He actually adjusted and led Koko Buzzwole. I switch out my my Kartana into Togedemaru, and he Z Thunderbolt. So it's amazing turn 1 for me because I get off a Dazzling Gleam. I end up killing Buzzwole super early on. No, he protected, but I end up getting a ton of damage off, about half on Koko, and then basically after that. He couldn't stay in with Buzzwole because I was locked in Dazzling Gleam, right? So I double attacked the Buzzwole slot with Zing Zap from Togedemaru, which is boosted by Electric Terrain, by the way. No, not boosted by Electric Terrain, not just yet. But I Zing Zap and Dazzling Gleam into that. He goes out into Oranguru on that side, and it just doesn't take it well. Like it's a 2 KO on that mod. So I just go for that again. The Koko couldn't do really anything to me. He ended up switching out Koko into Snorlax as well on that turn. So I end up taking that down, and afterwards, Buzzwole's still alive in the back, right? So it's still a legitimate threat. Though I found that he had Superpower, Ice Punch, Protect. I didn't see like Poison Jab or anything like that, so I wasn't 100% sure what he had. But the guy ended up basically losing to my Zing Zap into Electric Terrain, which is like 60% to Snorlax. I was like, what the hell? And Flare plus Arcanine, and I was able to finish off on Extreme Speed. And I won that first game. So okay, so like I wasn't as worried because it is a best of 3 team, so I don't mind dropping game 1 to win after. So I ended up winning that one. So I'm 1-0 now, right? I'm 1-0. So I'm feeling good. MV 0-1 because he said he choked the game away at the end, which sucks. Like we both could have been 1-0. A-Drive's also 1-0 right now, so we're doing pretty well. All right, game 2, I play Robbie Moore, and he has Koko, Cart, Arcanine, Finny, P2, and Gigalith, and I just hate it automatically. I hate it automatically, dude. I knew him because I met him earlier that day, and really cool dude. He came in with like nails in them, so I expected him to be solid, and he just outplays me completely. Like game 1, I could have won if I stayed in with Togedemaru, but he calls me switching out Togedemaru and Thunderbolts into my Tapu Fini. It was a beautiful play. Like I had to clap. I got that. And then game 2, he just straight up destroys me as well. So I lose really, really quickly. I'm like, crap, man. I'm 1-1 now. And he actually tells me, like, dude, listen, the reason that only worked is because I know you're a good player, so I could play aggro as hell and just attack what's not in front of him, which is pretty much what he did. He positioned himself well and attacked what was not in front of him, and it worked for him. So I like the compliment, but I got beat down. So I'm 1-1. I'm 1-1 now. I play, I think his name is Gyro. I play him in round 3, right? So I lost. That was the only game, by the way, that I lost 2-0. So I did lose 2-0 really quickly in that round. I was like, okay, I lost this guy, but I'll take what I learned from it. And if I fight him later on in Top Cut, if I even make it a Top Cut at this point, I think X and 1 is Top Cut because unfortunately we didn't have 227 people. 234 people signed up, but only 224 came. If we had 227, top 16 would have been Top Cut, which is what I wanted. I tried to, boost that a little bit, but it didn't work. Anyway, about this dude, he has D-Knight P2, Chomp, Mimikyu, Koko, Tapu Fini. So I hate Chomp. The team hates Chomp because the team has no, like, ground immunities, right? So it hates Chomp. It has Pokemon that can deal with it. Game 1, he leads off with Mimikyu, Koko. I have Fini plus Arcanine as the lead because I liked Fini Arcanine a lot versus potentially D-Knight, Chomp, Mimikyu, just to get off that Intimidate early, right? And I think that was alright. And I purposely switched out turn 1 into my Togedemaru as he ends up going for Dazzling Gleam turn 1. So great play already. Great play turn 1. Going for Dazzling Gleam, expecting the Togedemaru, reading the Togedemaru coming in. And then this Mimikyu goes for Life Orb Woodhammer and puts my Tapu Fini down. I was like, what just happened? What actually just happened to me? So I ended up losing this game. But I get so much information out of it that I was okay, right? Like, it turned out he was so much information out of it that I was okay, right? Like, it turned out he was HP Fire Coco. His Mimikyu was Life Orb Woodhammer with Shadow Claw, Shadow Sneak, and I also saw Play Rough. So I saw all 4 of its moves. I know that's not Protect. I saw Garchomp, which was EQ, but not Choice Scarf. Found out it was not Choice Scarf because I ended up, like, knocking it out with my Z move. And I also find out that his D-Knight is PokeaimMD, because it goes for Z Continental Crush versus my Arcanine. I lose Arcanine. So obviously I didn't, put the order of the game right there, right? But like, that's what ended up happening. I got so much information out of it, so I felt okay. So game 2, he leads Mimikyu, Coco, and has D-Knight and Garchomp in the back. I believe that I lead with, I want to say I switched it up and decided to go the Mimilax format, even though his team is like really fast. I thought that it'd be better like that, so I lead off with Mimilax, right? And it turns out that his Coco is actually Focus Sash, and then he does confirm that he does the Play Rough. But I end up winning this game. Because I actually belly drum up a Lax and ended up getting some kills with it, which was amazing. Because I got up a Trick Room and he couldn't do anything, especially with Arcanine next to Snorlax. Like, I brought Arcanine as well. He couldn't knock out my Snorlax because of the Intimidate. He couldn't do any damage to it. So I ended up winning that game. I found out his Coco was Sash. I also found out his Chomp was Z Ground, so he does double Z, and he brought D-Knight as well. So I ended up beating that. So game 3, right? It's final game. He brings Tapu Koko, Tapu Fini, D-Knight, and Mimikyu. I brought Snorlax this game because it did so much work the other game. I was so happy that he didn't bring the Garchomp this game, but I ended up bringing D-Knight. I didn't bring Mimikyu this time though. I brought D-Knight on its own. Kartana, Totem, I didn't bring Togedemaru either. So like basically, even though because he never Thunderbolted because he always feared it. So I didn't bring it. This game. So I brought Snorlax, Kartana, Fini, and Arcanine. And I end up, as Kartana's elite, I end up scaring out the Tapu Fini. Coco goes for HP Fire. I read that. So next to it, I'm able to attack the Coco, get some damage off on it, eventually knock it out. And at a point, it comes down to D-Knight Mimikyu versus Snorlax. And my Snorlax, and it's a -1 Mimikyu, a neutral Dragonite. And I end up, knocking out Mimikyu with... Well, the Pokemon next to me ends up both going down because I had Tapu Fini and Snorlax out. My bad. At a point, and I end up breaking D-Knight's multiscale with Dazzling Gleam because I ended up living the Woodhammer because of an Intimidate prior, and I end up getting off just enough on Mimikyu to knock it out with his own Woodhammer recoil, and also breaking Dragonite's multiscale. So at this point, it's Dragonite versus Snorlax, and he could not break through it, man. He wasn't Dragon Dance. He was 4 attacks with Extreme Speed, Fire Punch, PokeaimMD, and Dragon Claw. So he couldn't Dragon Dance up. He couldn't do anything. And my Snorlax ends up winning that 1v1. So alright, so I'm 2-1 now at this point, right? And then they matched me up versus 3-time world champion Ray Rizzo. And Ray Rizzo had everything that my team hated. Ninetales, Lele, Garchomp, Arcanine, Xurkitree, and Mandibuzz. Specifically Garchomp, Mandibuzz, and then Lele plus Ninetales. So all 3 games, we played 3 games. All 3 games, I brought the same Pokemon versus him. Game 1, he leads off with Mandibuzz, Xurkitree, Arcanine, Chomp in the back. I found that a lot. Z move. T-Bolt, Dazzling Gleam, Tailwind, Foul Play, Roost, Mandibuzz. I ended up losing game 1, but it came down to if I got a double protect, I won game 1. So I was like, okay, I'm doing alright. I'm alright with losing. I don't know why this game wasn't streamed, by the way. This would have been a fire game to stream. But I ended up losing game 1, but only because I didn't get a double protect, which is fair, 30% chance, 32% chance, whatever. That's cool. I'm so proud of myself. Game 2, he leads Mimikyu Garchomp. I found out his Garchomp is adamant, which is amazing for me, and I actually end up winning game 2. But the funny thing is, he could have won game 2 if he got a double protect. So basically, game 1, if I got a double spiky shield, which is pretty much double protect, I won. Game 2, he would have won if he got a double protect, but he didn't get it. It was crazy how the game actually went to we both needed. So I win that game. Game 3, Garchomp, Mandibuzz, Lele, and then I'm assuming Arcanine in the back. Came down to if I got a double protect, I won the game. If I didn't get the double protect, I lost the game. and I didn't end up getting the double protect, and I ended up losing 1-2 to or 2-1 to Ray Rizzo. And I talked with him a little bit after. Like I was still pretty excited that I at least forced it. Like I don't think I could have played this games any better. The matchup was already tough as hell as it was for me anyway. But also on top of that, like I was just happy, that all 3 games came down to whether one of us won or lost. It came down to who got a double protect. And he didn't get it, I didn't get it, and I didn't get it again. So I could have beaten Ray Rizzo if I got the double protect, but I was still really happy. Like, he complimented me. He was like, yo, dude, that was actually really, really, really great set. They should have streamed it. And, like, he followed me on Twitter, so I was happy. But, yeah, it was really cool. And the way he complimented me, it was pretty crazy. He's like that all 3 games came down to determined by a double protect. So I was happy that I at least even forced him into that position with such a bad matchup versus me. So at this point, I'm not doing the best, right? It's round 4 finished, and I'm 2-2. If I lose one more, all dreams of even getting top cut by resistance, that's if we don't have enough X and 1s, like 7 1s, are over. So I was like, I gotta step it up. I play Charlie Pollock for round 5. And he has Persian Snorlax, Nihilego, Mimikyu, Arcanine, Coco. Alright, I'm alright. Like, Nihilego's a little bit annoying, but I can deal with it. I end up winning game 1, and I find out so much information that his Snorlax is Belly Drum, Crunch, Recycle, so I know that he's not Protect on it. I end up winning game 1 with my, not my own lax. I end up winning game 1, right? Game 2, I end up losing to a well-played Snorlax plus Quash. Like, he just keeps quashing me and kills all my mons. I couldn't kill him. Togedemaru put in a lot of work, though, game 1, which is the reason why I won. Game 2, I lost. Game 3, I played really, really aggressively with my Snorlax, and I actually ended up belly drumming, and I ended up just, like, breaking through his team in game 3. So I was really, really happy that I won. So I ended up being 3-2 now. They're like, okay, good. I can't lose. 3-2. It was such a good series, too. Like, there were some plays. I really wish... That's something you guys gotta do, man. Pokemon, I know you're not listening to me, but if you ever do, please make it so we can save all our replays. Not just our last one. Like, these games were so good. It was such a great series, too. And I had to make some plays to win in game 3, so I was happy about that. Right? Alright, so round 6, I play Robert Doyle, and he has Mimikyu, Mudsdale, Muk, Hariyama, Coco, Milotic. Some sort of, like, half-full Trick Room, and then Coco. I win game 1. Togedemaru plus he had Woodhammer on his Mimikyu too, but it didn't KO my my Feeny. I just led Feeny plus Togedemaru, a faked out Hariyama, a dazzling Goyen did a punch to it, and then even with Muds down the back, like he made a few good plays. I found out that his Muk was actually flamethrower, but I always sub with Kartana. Like I always sub versus him with Kartana. I don't risk that. I don't want to risk a flamethrower, so I sub. I found out that he brought Mudsdale as well as Muk, and I ended up beating him game 1. Game 2, I end up like using. He leads Muk Coco and has Hariyama Milotic. I mean, same thing. I go Togedemaru with Kartana because I realized how good Kartana was versus team. No Arcanine, and his only resistance is Muk, which isn't like a good resistance because it takes like 70% from Bloom Doom. So get my fake off out. Flare Blitz in the Coco. He has Hariyama plus Milotic in the back. I end up winning with just Kartana and Feeny again. So I won 2-0 here. So my first 2-0, I am now 4-2, which is pretty cool. Round 7 comes out, and I am playing Summer Hunter. And pretty standard team she has. Snorlax, Garchomp, Celesteela, Mimikyu, Arcanine, Coco. I'm pretty sure it's Scarf Garchomp just based on the makeup of it. I end up winning game 1. But I do find out also a lot of information. Like, I led Mimolax versus her because potentially her only mon that's faster is Coco, since people do run Adamant Garchomp, which is like, crazy to me. But I guess they run Adamant when it's on SD, like on Veil teams, right? But I lead Mimolax, and she roars me out like as I belly drum. So I was like, oh, okay. She had Celesteela and Coco in the back. I end up winning anyway because she had Z Destiny Mon as well. So, like, she ended up trading my... She ended up getting my, I want to say my Tapu Fini, right? She ended up getting my Tapu Fini with her Mimikyu because of Z Destiny Mod, but at the end of the day, she couldn't bust through Arcanine plus Celesteela. Like, their bulk just was too much for Arcanine plus Snorlax. The bulk was just too much, and I ended up winning that game. Game 2, she ends up winning with some poison jabs from Garchomp. Actually poisoned my Snorlax, so I had a shot, but poisoned me. I do find out this Choice Scarf though in Game 2, and then Game 3. At this point, we're the last people playing for round 7, and it was such a really good game. I actually get a flinch on her Arcanine, which made it so I didn't have to. I think it sped up the game. Like I feel like I still could have won with what I had left in the back. We actually came down to, like, both judges were there and they said, okay, you have 3 turns left to win this game. Otherwise, it's gonna go down to HP and things like that. So I was like, oh, okay. So as things happened to Arcanine, I forced her in a position where, like, basically she has to Rock Slide flinch me with Garchomp. And if she did get lucky, I'm not gonna lie, if she did get lucky with Garchomp, she could have won that way. But I ended up winning Game 3 in a really solid set that came down to the wire. And immediately after, I had to play my round 8 game. My DS is dying at this point. I talked to Nails. I was like, yeah, man, I'm 5-2, bro. I'm not going to let this, and I even tweeted about it. I was like, I'm not going to let this luck go to waste. I got lucky versus her in Game 3, which made it so I didn't potentially get hacked, which is still luck. Like, any play that means that my opponent loses a chance from winning is definitely luck, even if my opponent needed luck to win, because Pokemon is a game of odds, right? You play the odds, and if my opponent isn't able to get those odds, then I did luck them, even if it is luck. That's the way I see it anyway. So round 8, all right. I just talked to Nails. Nails has this beautiful big Chansey plushie, and I say, hey, can I use this? Can I use this? And because he's already I think he's already out at this point. Like he dropped, I'm pretty sure, or he didn't do as well in this that he's been doing. So he's like, yeah, man. So he passes me the Chansey. I'm about to play my round 8. I asked the dude if we can go back to the charger station, and at this point I'm charging my DS and my phone, but you can't have your phone out, so I had like Chansey on top of the phone just charging it. It worked up until I took up Chansey and the judge was there, but he's like, yeah, just cover it again, you're fine. And Jordan Edwards is who I play, and he is the only Sun team, and I did not want to fight Torkoal Lilligant. So this is my last game. If I win this, I'm 6-2. If he wins this, he's 6-2. And he's also guaranteed top 16 because he has the best. He's like the top of the 5-2s right now. So he's guaranteed top 16 if he wins this. If he's not, I knock him out top 16 and other people get it. So he has Torkoal Lilligant, Lele Pheromosa, or Nguru Crocodile. Now, this is something that's pretty cookie cutter. Like, I even talked about it a little bit. I was like, okay, so Wolfe is like, you lead Arcanine, Snorlax, you frustration into Torkoal. I'm just remembering what Wolfe told me. You frustration into Torkoal to weaken its eruption. You flare bits into Lilligant. I was like, wait, shouldn't I go Tapu Fini to get rid of the sleep powder from Lilligant? He's like, no. They have a 25% chance to lose the game that turn. Which is funny to me. But, yeah, so I frustration into Torkoal and flare bits into Lilligant. Lilligant protects. And then next turn, Lilligant goes for Bloom Zoom plus Eruption to Snorlax. Snorlax eats that attack. Snorlax eats it. And Flareblitz is able to get rid of Lilligant. And Torkoal is like severely weakened, right? Torkoal's like at 40% at this point. So in the back, my opponent does have Lele plus Pheromosa. And I was so tired of... On the ladder, I played this team a lot, right? I was so tired of whenever I protected with Snorlax, Pheromosa would kill next to me, or wouldn't even go for high jump kick, or they would all out pummeling Arcanine, and Arcanine would die, that when Pheromosa was out, I just returned it. I did not protect, didn't even think about it. I was like, screw it, man. This move can miss anyway. Focus Blast can miss too. Chances are he expects my switching to Fini anyway. And Pheromosa actually poison jabs in the Snorlax. I end up knocking it out with return, which was hilarious, by the way. Absolutely hilarious. End up knocking it out with return. And it turns out his top of layer Scarf. Like, I sacked Kartana on the Psychic, bring in my... Fini. And basically, it was Lele Pheromosa versus... Fini plus Snorlax, and like I said, I'm balls to wall with this Snorlax. I return into Pheromosa as he poison jabs into Fini, expecting my protect, get rid of Pheromosa, and then Psychic plus poison jab was able to get rid of my Fini, but it was just Lele, Scarf Lele, and Misty Terrain versus Snorlax. I just recycle, get my Figgy Berry, and end up beating it down at return. So I was pretty proud of how I played, really aggressively, because like I said, I had lost to that team so many times on the ladder for playing conservatively. So game 2. Right, again, last game of the round. It's Crocodile Pheromosa lead with that I found that was Taunt, EQ, Assurance, Protect, Torkoal in the back, and then also Lele. So I ended up going with, I want to say Mimilax. No, I ended up leading the same lead because I thought it was the best lead possible. So Arcanine plus Snorlax lead with Mimikyu in the back and Feeny. I didn't want to bring Kartana this time. I want to Mimikyu because Mimikyu's the sky. One, if I got up Trick Room, I didn't lead Mimilax because I didn't like Mimilax as a lead versus them. If they let off with Torkoal plus Lilligant, you just after you eruptions and like Mimikyu's pretty much useless. So, and plus Torkoal is slower than Snorlax anyway, so it can then go for eruption anyway. Like Torkoal has that speedy option because of after you, but it also has the Trick Room option. So I didn't want to lead off of Mimilax, but I brought Mimilax this game. So same thing, Arcanine plus Snorlax as a lead. Get off the Intimidate on Crocodile, Pheromosa. And I make a pretty hard read. I go directly into my Crocodile, expecting him to I go directly into my Mimikyu, expecting Crocodile to Z Tectonic Rage versus Z Earthquake versus my Arcanine. So I go directly into that, and he does. And so I just bust my disguise on Mimikyu. I take no damage, and I return directly into Pheromosa. And I didn't, like I said, I don't care that this Mon can go for high jump kick. He actually poison jabs into my Snorlax, predicting me to want to go out into Feeny. So at this point, he's like, I can see my opponent. He's kind of like, why is this dude not protecting? And I think at this point, he doesn't think I have protect because I never showed it. So turn 2, because Pheromosa was in range that I can knock it out anyway, even if it protects with Z for Never Ending Nightmare. I decided to actually go for Never Ending Nightmare versus the Pheromosa and protect my Snorlax. He high jump kicks that turn. So Pheromosa's gone. Did not knock out any Mon. I was so proud of how I played that, man. And I ended up getting off a Never Ending Nightmare on Crocodile. Doesn't do too much, obviously, but all that chip damage is going to matter for later. So Lele comes out, which can Psychic me and get me down. I actually go directly into Tapu Fini that turn. I save Mimikyu just because I'm faster than Crocodile, so I could potentially Destiny Bond or taunt it. So I save Mimikyu. I go out into my Fini, which does take the Psychic. And I return into Lilligant. I return into Tapu Lele, as he does reveal that he has, like on that turn that I protected, he revealed that he had taunt on Snorlax. So I return into Lele, just trying to wear it down, basically. And Feeny comes out, and he pretty much has to double attack. So next turn, he decides to go for Psychic, and he decides to go for Psychic plus Assurance. He couldn't go for Earthquake, but he goes for Psychic plus Assurance on top of Feeny, knocks it out. I return again into Lele. I get rid of it. So it's now Crocodile plus Torkoal versus a busted Mimikyu and my Snorlax. And what I decide to do right here is the Torkoal goes for Flamethrower on Snorlax over Eruption because it's a little bit weakened, and he wants to save it. He doesn't want me to go for Protects on them, which is fair. And Crocodile goes for an Assurance on Mimikyu because he doesn't want to waste my D-Bond. Like, he's scared of D-Bond, right? So I return into Crocodile, and then next turn, what ended up happening was I taunt Crocodile. That way it can't taunt my Snorlax, right? Because I figured, okay, the way I win this game is Snorlax beats Torkoal 1v1. So I taunt that way it can't knock. He knocks out my Mimikyu that turn with Assurance, and he actually clear smogged into my Snorlax, which meant that I was no longer intimidated, and I was able to get rid of Crocodile with return. So now it's Snorlax versus Torkoal 1v1, right? So keep in mind, this is the last battle. Like, we're actually the last battle done. The last battle right here, and I already won game 1. This is game 2. So what ended up happening was, like, I ended up having to stall out Torkoal of its eruptions, and the only reason it took so long, it ended up being like a 45 turn battle, was because he Flamethrower burnt my Torkoal, or my Snorlax on the second Flamethrower. On the first Flamethrower he used on it, he Flamethrower burnt it. Now he was smart to go for Clear Smog though. The turn that I returned into Crocodile, he Clear Smogged my Torkoal. And because he was already taunted by my Mimikyu, I was able to knock out Crocodile with the next one, and then I had this, regular attack Snorlax, but then he Flamethrower burnt me. So because of that burn, what my opponent had to do was play it to a point where Eruption crits him. Like, I go for Protect the next turn, because that's the last turn of Sun. Sun is gone, so Eruption can't beat me, and I go for Recycle, and he basically goes for Eruptions on turns that he knows I'm not going to protect, and the burn actually helps and hurts me. It helps me in the sense that it gets me down to my Figgy Berry more often if I play it smart. Like, if I return on certain attacks I know he's going to protect, and But it also hurts me because I could have just won with Snorlax with a 3 KO from return as opposed to the range Torque was at. I could have 3 KO return as opposed to having to stall it out and not get crit and then go for returns whenever I'm high enough on HP. But at the end of the day, he only had like 2 opportunities to crit me. He did not get them, and I ended up beating him, and now I'm 6-2. So I ended up going 6-2, right? And I was really happy. It's not what I wanted, though. Obviously, I wanted top 16. I wanted top 8. It turns out I was number 23. I did get, though, 60 CP. And that 60 CP was really, really important because I was like, yeah, okay, I'm going to try in 2018. I'm going to play the 2018 meta, and I'm going to try and get a Worlds invite. So that's my plan now. Envy actually ended up being 64th place with 5-3. He played Marat in his last round. And, yeah, he decided that he's also going to try and go to some tournaments as well. That's pretty cool. He actually just made the cut, so he got 50 CP for that, which is pretty cool. And I got 60 because I was 23rd. Because I knocked out the dude that I did, he didn't get top 16, so Brendan actually ended up getting top 16, Aaron's brother. And yeah, that was pretty cool. So I ended up with that. No, I was pretty happy with how I played for the most part. I was really happy that like my games versus Ray Rizzo literally came down to who got double protects at different games. That I was able to bring it that close, especially with considering the matchup. Like the matchup was just so bad, but I was so happy about that. And yeah, it was just such a great experience. And now I've decided that I'm also going to be uploading VGC content on BattleSpot alongside my Showdown Lives. I'm not going to launch it today. I'm going to launch it tomorrow, and that'll be daily alongside Showdown Live. So stay tuned for that. That's definitely something. Like I said, I also have something on Wolfe's channel that you guys should check out. But overall, it was a great experience, and got to meet a lot of you guys. I ended up driving Brendan home, so that's cool. We're just talking the whole way. Gave me company going home. Drove Envy to the airport and whatnot. But yeah, it was such a good experience, and I'm just happy with how I finished. I would have loved to be 7-1, not 6-2, but I don't know. I feel better about VGC, and it was really a test for me in a sense that like if I did well in this. I feel confident enough to upload VGC to my channel. And I do, at least with this team. So, but I'll only be using this team a couple times. But yeah, it was such a fun experience. And I really, the next event I plan on going to is Dallas in January for the 2018 meta. I don't plan on doing any more 2017, but I am now at 60 CP out of 400. And we're about an 1/8 of the way to Worlds. Almost a 1/4 of the way to Worlds, to be honest. That's actually almost a 1/4 of the way to Worlds. Because 100, yeah. So that's really cool. But I really enjoyed myself. It was really fun, and stay tuned for some VGC, guys. That's basically what this was about. Like, stay tuned for some VGC. I know I talked for almost an hour long. I know I talked so long, but for those of you that listen, tapped out. That was cool. Really excited. Met some great people as well, and yeah, I'm looking forward to what the future holds for VGC. So thank you everybody for watching. Check out Wolfe. Channel link is down below. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, friends.